Hi guys, my name is Christina and welcome to my channel. We talk a lot about how to create comics because this is something that is my focus and something that I've been doing for the past 6 years. But also we talk a lot about art, how to create art, how to enjoy art, and how to earn money with your art and how to do art professionally, because something that I've been doing too. If something of this is interesting to you, please make sure to subscribe, ring a bell, and this is how you will get notified when my next video comes out. And it also will help my little channel grow. It's gonna help you, it's gonna help me. It's a perfect world. And this is Azula. She's in this video because she was playing with my leg and I decided to give her all the love and attention, and because she's a Shiba, she hates it. So she thinks she wants my love, but in fact, she doesn't. Right? You're over it, now you're gonna go sleep. And in this video, I'm gonna talk to you about how to know that you're getting better at your art. Obviously, as we're working hard and trying to learn more and become better artists, we really want to know how to know that we're getting better. We really want to know how to assess this. And there's definitely different things that I notice when I've been progressing in my skills that you can really tell that you actually are getting better. So I'm gonna name some of them. And I'm gonna take the most obvious out of the way. And this is that people actually will tell you. So people around you will start telling you. And ask it not from artist friend, but just normal friends. Usually when you're just starting to progress, usually you're not at the level when you're good and when your friend's gonna be like, oh my god, I really love your art. Usually they will be seeing you like you're really trying, you're drawing, they may be not really liking your art yet or ever. It's still possible that they will never like it. It's okay that just normal people in your life do not recognize you as someone who is having like mad skills yet, right? But as you will start progressing, those people will be the first to notice, because they will have a moment when they usually see your drawings and they think, oh, they're drawing again. But there will be a time when they'll start looking and be like, oh, it actually looks good. It actually looks like you're drawing a teapot. It actually looks like a teapot. It actually looks like a human. Or it actually looks like this character from this movie that you're trying to do. So they will actually let you know, because it will be like a shift for them when they like go from, oh yeah, they're just drawing to, ooh, I'm a little invested now. So at different levels it will happen no matter where you start progressing. But I will just notice what people who are not artists will tell you, because there will be definitely a shift. This is like, it will come out of nowhere, they will mention it. Another one is that you will realize you do certain things faster. Things that before took you quite a while to do now take you less time, way less time, and you notice that just the speed change. This is a very good indicator that just the fastest and the speed of your work, or things that you remember struggling and been taking you a long time. For example, you're like, oh my god, I need to draw this room, it's gonna be a lot of perspective, oh my god, and then you realize you actually did it. There is not a moment then you like struggled a lot and did a lot of redos. This is a very strong sign, just basically the time spent. It also means that your eye is already trained and you have like a good connection between your eye and your hand. And now that you're drawing, you look at something, you know the vision, how it should look like, and your hand already starts doing it. So you don't have to be like, oh, it has to look like this, I have to do it this way, and like, let's try to do it this way. No, you just think, you have a visual of how it should look like, and then it happens. Or you have the idea how it should look like, and visual comes up as you're doing this. So you have very good connection between your hands and your brain. That's why this is where the time kind of disappears. And also because you don't have to do a lot of back and forth, trials and errors, and you just go for it confident and you know how to do it. So if you're doing it faster, you're getting better, like hands down. Another sign is that you copy less and create more independent art. So copying is really, it's a great stuff. It's something that helps us learn, and especially sometimes when we're progressing and want to draw something, but we never drew it before, we wouldn't know how to draw it. So we get some reference, and for example, we want to draw like a bird that is flying, and we get a picture of the bird that is flying, and we're drawing the bird that is flying that looks exactly like the one from this picture, because we never drew a flying bird and we don't know how to improvise with this. So we get this example and we repeat this example, or we find the example that we really need. So you will be doing that. And then as you progress, you start realizing that certain things you don't really need a reference for. You kind of like can improvise. You think, oh, bird flying, and you don't need to have like a certain picture of like when the wings are a certain way. You just do whatever pose you want, and even though you never saw a reference for this particular pose of the flying bird, you can totally recreate it, or you can totally just improvise on it, and it will work. It will look like a flying bird. It's just because at this point you kind of understand how the thing works. works, and you can play around with this. It's something like if you're drawing a person, you don't have to have a constant reference of a person there, you can understand how it works. Or if certain muscle, you don't have to have constant reference how the muscle works. Like for me, it's always like it was a male torso, like this kind of area where the ribs connect with abs basically, and like the side area. This is something that I couldn't get on the male form, and I would always have those pictures like of drawings of other artists that have this area, and I always kind of reference every time I draw like male characters in different poses. But at some point you don't need it, you can really improvise, you can do whatever you want. So this is another thing that is really helpful. I noticed that I just look at the viewfinder for some reason. I'm sorry. So if my eyes are like, I'm like, woo, so this is how we're gonna do it. And I'll look at some completely random places. This is because I'm looking in a viewfinder. I don't know why. I'm not gonna do it anymore, sorry. The moment you start improvising and creating more of original work, original art, you start blending your colors yourself. You don't have some color reference. You just go and you just create your own and just experiment and you have fun. This is how you know you're getting better. The more you improvise, the more you create stuff from scratch without references, just for fun, that means that you are improving. Another sign that you're improving is that your taste changed. Like for example, artists and art that you preferred before, it started changing. Now you start liking different type of art altogether, just because you realize that artists that you liked before, they're not looking like this top-notch art quality to you anymore, and some other arts start looking like this. It's because you probably got to the level of people you were using as an example, and now they're not looking like something you look at and be like, whoa. It looks like, yeah, decent, but it's not a wow factor. And then other art, for example, before you look like absolutely incomprehensible goodness and godlike talent, now you're like, oh, it's a visible goal, and I like this, and I prefer this, and I like this aspect. Well, sometimes you didn't even care about certain pictures, but now you look and be like, oh, damn, they nailed this thing over there. They nailed how they drew this stuff in their drawing, and I'm really liking it. So you start paying attention. So basically, your tastes change, and they change naturally because of the new things that you start learning. So that's another major sign of like, just pay attention what you like in art, what you don't like, and what looks like an achievable thing, and what start looking like, yeah, I understand how they did this. So yeah, I think I can do this. Sometimes I really want to be able to do it. So you start looking at this as like, yeah, something that I really want to be able to do. Another thing, there's two last points, and they're more on the negative side, but they're still actually like a good sign of you improving. The first is you start hating your previous work. I remember there was a really timeline when there was a whole year where I really improved a lot in my drawing, and every new drawing I would be drawing would be looking way better than the previous one. It's like I was really getting it. Literally every new drawing would be an improvement, and I would hate each of my previous drawings. And there was a really this like a scary moment, because I was like, well, if I'm drawing, for example, a comic, how can I know that I'm creating it and I will not be looking at the previous pages and will be hating them? So it's like, is it ever gonna end? So my next drawing I will be happy, and my previous I will be hating? It definitely stops at some point. You definitely see more weaknesses and, you know, strengths and weaknesses of your work. But that phenomenon is usually happening when you create the major growth, when you really implementing better and better skills every new work that you're doing. That's why like previous works looks weaker to you, and this is just a sign that you're working. Eventually you will even out, and the progress that you will be making will not be this great, like this insane. It will be more gradual. It will always be an improvement, but it will be more gradual. But usually when you like break through this, like kind of struggling to really be good at drawing to actually being good at drawing, like during this process, it's like an awkward gap where it's hard. Like you create something, you're like, yeah, I like this, but oh my god, something I drew a day ago, it really sucks. So that's not like the happiest moment to be, but it definitely means that you're progressing, and do not ever be discouraged by this. So it's a good sign overall. And the last one is really weird to describe. It's not a positive experience, but it's hard to explain, but I'll try. I'd call it as just being pissed at your own skills. I'll try to explain what it means, but basically I would notice that every time I'm about to jump to the new level of like my drawing ability, it would be this awkward period where I would be drawing and I would be hating everything I draw. I would be pissed that it doesn't come out the way I want it. It just doesn't, and I will be like get very angry and very frustrated, because I would be knowing how the good thing should look like. I will be knowing what I can draw. I know that sometimes I can achieve certain look, but it just doesn't come out right now, this moment. And I would look, I know how it should be drawn correctly, and it just wouldn't wouldn't work. So to me, what it is, it's where your brain and your eyes already developed enough for the next level. Your hands didn't catch up yet. So you don't have this brain to hands connection very well established that you think this shadow, your hands does this shadow. Or you think this line, your hand does this line. Like this connection has not yet happened because your brain and eyes progressed and your hands didn't catch up with like this new software update yet. So that's something that I definitely noticed happening. Like my eyes and brain would know how things should look like. They know how the right thing should look like, but my hands just can't do it. Like something is wrong. Like I try and it doesn't work. And it's very frustrating. I remember I would always have this moment when I would do a jump and I would just tear my drawings apart, cry, get pissed, like it wouldn't work, like, and what I drew was not be bad, but there's an element of like hating your previous drawing come in. So it's like your eyes are ready to do your next level, but your hands is literally drawing on like your yesterday's level, and it's a very frustrating feeling. And I definitely, even sometimes now I have it, and that's means you're progressing, like your brain and eyes progressed, which is the most important. Your eyes and your brain, it's like how you see and how you process visuals. This is where the knowing how to draw happens, not at hands. Hands, you're just training basically micro movements, and it's nothing crazy. Like the hands itself is not the most important part, is the connection between the brain and the hands. That's why you see people, for example, who unfortunately they're not able to draw with their hands, or something happened, they are able to do the same with their leg. Like there's a girl I saw an article, she can paint with the toe, and everybody is like, oh my god, she's so insane. And to me, it's fantastic that she learned how to use her leg like this. But you don't really lose your art skills with your limbs, even though this is like a terrifying, I hope it never happens to anybody, like just to get it out of the way. But it's something that happens in your head, and this small disconnect between your head and your brain and your hands, there's something that causes you to be frustrated, but this is also something that means that you brain has updated and your hands didn't catch up. So this is another sign, and to me this is the biggest sign that I keep noticing. So if you're frustrated, if it's getting hard, if you're getting upset, impatient, or discouraged by, you know, this disconnection, or like it doesn't work as I see it should be working, it means you're improving. Keep going and never give up. So I hope this video is helpful for you guys, me sharing this experience that I noticed in my art. Let me know if you have some experience of your own, of how it feels if you're progressing, and leave them in the comments down below. I'm very curious to read them, and I'm sure other people who are passing by this video will be happy to read them. So thank you so much guys for watching, and I hope you have a good day. Thank you so much guys for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.